Discovery Houston, press to ATO.
Liftoff of mission 41D, the first flight in the orbit of Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Three, two, one, zero, zero.
Discovery, go and throttle up. Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Good morning. There we go. Now my mic is working. Happy Wednesday. I'm crunching along. I have a bowl of Doritos this morning. And it's not breakfast. Morning, Bouncy. A stream indeed. And a bowl of highly addictive chips. Some peach Arizona. Sorry, not peach. Mucho mango. I don't think they have a peach Arizona. Alrighty. Hope everyone's having a reasonable week. It has been a week. Continues to be a week after a week. Oh, this track is a long fade out. Close enough. So, Monday, right? Normal work day. Except instead of doing afternoon route, I had ski school charter. The snow up there is melting rapidly. They're supposedly going to get some snow next week. We'll see. So Monday was Monday with Monday issues. Was it Monday? It was Monday. I'm losing track of how long it's been. So it would have been Monday morning, about 2:11 in the a.m. is when our internet blipped. I don't know if it tried to reset, if it tried to update, if it just cut out. But at any rate, it broke my I crave salt. I feel you there. Well, as far as salt goes, so like Sunday I went out to get some groceries. I came home with chips. Forgot everything else. Had to go back out Monday and get actual groceries. Anyway. So yeah, around 2 a.m., basically our internet blipped, and my router just self-destructed. And I'm going to name names. I'm small enough as a YouTuber, nobody knows I exist. It's a Netgear Orbi 750. And I bought the system back in February of 22, so I've had it about 4 years. I've been very pleased with it. It was the first mesh home internet system I've ever had. And I've been very impressed with it. It's got good internet throughout the house. It's got good speeds. It's got great connectivity. Easy to use. You have a base unit that plugs in with your modem. And then you've got these satellite units that you can put wherever in your house to sort of extend your range. They're like built-in network extenders without having to make a bunch of like sub networks to run off of extenders and shit. Before I had the mesh network, I literally had two identical routers stacked on top of each other. And I had built my own primary and secondary Wi-Fi networks. The mesh does that all on its own. It's got two networks built in. It runs on dual frequency bands, so it's good with older devices or simpler devices as well as new stuff. It's a great system. I've been very happy with it. Last summer, when we got fiber to the house, was the first time my Orbi system ever crashed. They installed the fiber, it worked, super excellent speeds, and it eliminates the modem. It goes straight into the router. And within an hour of them doing that, my home internet just broke. And the router was showing it was connected and it had tons of speed, but no Wi-Fi would make it to the devices in the house. Every connection would fail. And I spent a good couple of hours that day fighting it and tweaking settings. And for some reason, I ended up switching what's called an SSID, your network name. I ended up switching the network names between the primary and the secondary networks. I just flipped them around and then it started working. And I was like, okay, that's super weird, but at least it's fixed. So fast forward to Monday. Monday, it crashes at like 2 in the morning. The first thing I realize is like my first alarm is on the Amazon hockey puck in my bedroom. It's supposed to turn on, play some music, turn on my lights, and then actual alarms will go off on my phone. And my phone alarm went off, and I'm like, why are my lights not on? Why don't I hear music? And she's over there beeping at me like she would if she had just finished like a timer. And I'm like, what are you doing? So I thought it was just my one Amazon device being stupid, because that happens. So just unplugged her. Figured I'd just plug her back in later and deal with it later. And then I go out to my den and realize that not all of my den lights are on either, because they're also supposed to be semi-automatic in the morning. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then the Roku on my TV doesn't connect. And I look at my phone, and my phone isn't connected to the Wi-Fi. And it won't connect to the Wi-Fi. And I'm like, oh no. So go upstairs, go to the router, the base unit for the Orbi system. Figure, hopefully it's like any other little glitch. Unplug it, plug it back in, it'll solve itself. So I unplugged it, plugged it back in. I didn't get immediate results. I used the hotspot on my phone to run the Roku on my TV so I could watch the morning news, have my breakfast, and I went to work. After morning route and before the charter on Monday, I came back home and spent a bunch of time trying to reset it. So we tried like unplugging it for longer, tried unplugging the satellites. That wasn't working. So then we start doing resets. So I hard resetting the base, and it completely resets the factory, and then you gotta reset up the network. And every time I put in my normal SSID, it would crash. Like everything would work up until then, and as soon as I put the name in, it would just stop connecting to anything. But the router was still most of the time connected to the internet, but nothing would then connect to it. Went back and forth, and then I had to go and do ski school and whatnot. So like Monday night, I had managed to get a mini workaround, because I'm looking online and other people are like, yeah, it does that, and you have to factory reset it. Like it's a known thing that it does. And one guy said that he found a workaround where he just turned off the security for his network and got things to reconnect. And Monday night I tried that, and that did partially work. So we were able to reconnect some stuff. And then I just used the default network for some other stuff. So at least we had some stuff connected. But like, I don't want to build a whole brand new network, because I'm talking like 60 plus devices in the house. A lot of them are these stupid little smart plugs and smart switches, and they all have different little bridge apps that are a pain in the butt. You don't remember the logins for any of them. They all have to be reactivated. They all have to be put in pairing mode to update them. Then they have to be like reconnected to Amazon for the actual smart part to work. I was like, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to get my old network back up so everything will reconnect to it and just work. So yeah, Monday night, I had a partial setup and I had no security. And I was like, well, I don't want no security. That's a problem. I was like, so yesterday, I come home from morning route and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna call tech support. There has to be some little setting or something that I don't know about, or maybe I have to use a computer to connect to it instead of using the app on my phone to get to some setting that I don't know about. There's got to be some simple way to do this. There couldn't possibly be a flaw in their system that is so big it requires a complete and total reset every time it has a blip, right? So call customer support, it got right in. And I told the guy what it was doing, and his immediate response is, that's weird. Like, that's a great start. So, yes, he wants me to try and connect to the computer. And I was like, well, my work laptop is at work, so I can't exactly plug it into the modem. And I was like, well, I have my computer in my office plugged directly into one of the satellites, but it also can do Wi-Fi. I just don't use the Wi-Fi because having it wired seems to be more stable for my streams, right? So I come down, I turn on the Wi-Fi, I can connect to the router. So we start going through settings. We tweak stuff, we change stuff, working on the guest network instead of the primary network to see if things will happen. And sure enough, anytime I put in my normal SSID, everything immediately disconnects and stops working and won't reconnect, including the computer, my phone, my dad's phone, none of it, right? So, we're going through all these settings, and he's looking at stuff on the satellites, he's looking at stuff on the main unit. And at one point, he's like, there's something about your SSID. And I'm like, no shit. Because everything else works unless I use that name. I can use that name in any other way. I can add numbers, I can add symbols, I can add spaces, anything to change it. And it will work fine, but none of those devices that were pre-set up on my network will reconnect to it if it's changed at all, right? So we end up getting disconnected on the call in the middle of trying to manually force update the Orbi system. We were trying to manually update the firmware. So that was fun. So he did call me back, and we did pick up where we left off. So like my computer connects to the main base, no problem. I can go in there, I can force the firmware there. One of the satellites works. The other satellite refuses to connect to anything. And the dude's like, will you have another computer? And I'm like, yeah, I have another computer, but it's not here. Well, we need another computer to try and connect to that other satellite. Fortunately, I got my dad one of those little pod computer things. It's just a little brick, but it's a full PC for Christmas. And he had it. So set that up. Sure enough, it'll connect to that satellite. Great. Now we can update the firmware on it. So we've updated the firmware on all three devices. Try and put my SSID in. Doesn't work. So by this point, I've pretty much given up that there's going to be some simple solution. I've been on the phone on and off with this guy for about 3 hours. And granted, he was very patient and he was trying to be very helpful as I had to keep wandering around the house to all of these individual devices, moving them around, manually resetting them again, unplug and replug, all of the above. And right around the last time that we tried it with the SSID and everything, we got disconnected on the phone again. And that time he did not call me back. But I'm staring at my screen like I don't think there's anything else to do. I'd literally spent a couple of hours Monday. I've spent 3 hours with customer service on Tuesday trying to get this thing solved. The internet does not have answers. And I was like, okay, I have one last play. I'll go to the store. I'll buy a new system. If I bring it home and set it up with the same SSID and it won't work, then there's something about that SSID in general that doesn't work. And then I'll know that my system was fine. I can return the new one, go back to my old one, set up a brand new network because I know that works. And then I'll just have to go through the pain of finding every little thing in the house and reconnecting it, right? So interesting, the prices on them have like gone in half since I bought my original Orbi. I got my original Orbi system with 2 satellites for like $300 from Costco like 4 years ago. You can buy a new one that's an improved version with Wi-Fi 7 from Walmart for about half the price. So with tax and whatnot, it comes out to about $160. So I run over there, grab one, got a single base unit, 1 satellite, bring it home, unplug my existing Orbi, plug the new one in, go through the setup again, because it's the same system, same setup. I get it all up and running, I verify that it works. And then, moment of truth, I turn on my network name, my SSID. Switch to my default, right? And it works. So what that means is that there was some bug very specifically within my my now old Orbi system that was specifically locked to the SSID name that I had picked and had been using for the last 4 years. And actually had been using previous to that with the old system. Something about that name just completely destroyed that system. Other than that, it works perfectly fine. Good connectivity, great range, easy to use, the whole 9 yards. So basically, we had no internet for 2 days because of a glitch in the Netgear Orbi system that didn't like my network name. And that was it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the new system does not ultimately develop the same problem. Because it had been offline so long that some of my devices would not reconnect, even after I finally got it working. I have a couple of LED strips. It's like there's one in my stairwell, there's one overhead in our kitchen that are a pair of the oldest LED strips in the house. And they wouldn't reconnect. Ow! Yes, I'm sitting in here chit-chatting with myself. That doesn't mean you have to jump on me with all the claws out. Thank you. Love you. Anyway, so there's a couple of LED strips. They are the oldest ones in the house, so it doesn't really surprise me that they didn't reconnect. There's some porch lights that I don't think reconnected. and a couple of other sensors that I have to like manually reconnect, and then the light switch in my den. So if I'm very gentle with the light switch in my den, it does work. So yeah, it's been a parade, it's been a marathon, it's been something. That's for sure. Something less than pleasant. And the main thing it reminds me is how dependent we get on technology. You know, when there's an Amazon Web Services failure and like almost every website in the world crashes, and they go, "Oh, this is a wake up call that we're too dependent on individual systems." And it's like, well, I'm the same way in my own house, where it's like we've gone and gotten rid of cable, so we've got Roku's and all the TVs. We do still have an antenna, but it's only hooked up to the living room TV and maybe my mom's TV. I was like, I have a DVD collection. If I want to watch movies and TV, technically all I have to do is pop a disc in. But you get used to having the Roku and being able to pop up and just there's YouTube ready to go. You know, you get used to it. And especially for me is the smart plugs, because we started putting in smart plugs because of an older house. So all the outlets are in very awkward places. So we've got, power strips that are behind furniture, and trying to get to some of the switches was really annoying. So we started using smart plugs. It's like I have a tower lamp in my own den, and it's got like a button switch on the cord, like a floor button switch. And I was like, no, thank you. I'd like to just be able to remote control that, please. So it's like a lot of my smart tech in my house is just fancy light switches, so that I don't have to, I could turn my lights on with a command. It's very convenient. You get used to that, and then it's gone, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do anything. And it's like, well, I do know how to do it. It's just awkward and annoying as heck. Because it's like the alarm thing. I have it set up right so it turns on my bedroom lights and starts playing music in the morning before my main alarm goes off. So I have kind of a soft awakening, as it were, instead of a bang, get up now awakening. And it didn't work on Monday, and it was like, where's my nice music I like? That, and usually when my first phone alarm goes off, I snooze it. I have a 10-minute snooze. And I'll tell the Amazon in my bedroom, good morning. And when I do that, she turns the lights on in the den and she plays the morning news and weather for me. So that by the time my next alarm goes off and I actually need to get up, I've heard what the day's headlines are and what the weather for the day looks like. You get used to that. It's a nice little piece of convenience. So, moving on. Give me a second. I didn't actually start this. The nicest thing is, of course, it is officially hump day. We're halfway through the week. Today, for the most part, is going okay. At least for me. Hope it's going all right for you. And to try to switch this over. There we go. Oh, and let me fix the sound. Application audio, please. I'm very glad it's working for the moment. So, per that note, working for the moment, today is going to be a little bit of a test for the stream, because my computer is no longer directly plugged into a satellite for the Wi-Fi system. It's running on Wi-Fi. Now, in the past, I stopped using the Wi-Fi for streaming because that was one of the unstable issues that I had run into. And I've been doing speed tests, and the speed tests look okay. So there may be some unstableness in the stream. I guess we're going to find out. Because I have one satellite, and if I need to move it into my office and plug my computer into it, I will. So that is the test for today. Is just make sure that the Wi-Fi is going to be adequate. And for the moment, it is. We've been up for half an hour now, and it looks like we're running clean and clear. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that stays the same. As for the game, the last time we played was Saturday. We got the first nuclear plant finished up and running. And that's where we're at. He's down here smogging it up. Way more smoke than even these things produce. But the extra benefit being that I no longer have to worry about power. Which is fantastic. I can officially effectively build to my heart's content at this point. It's a good thing I don't buy Doritos much because these things are addictive. So we are now producing up to 78,000 megawatts. I don't know, let's go find out. I would say not specifically. There is radiation here, but that's because I'm close to where all the uranium is. The plants themselves do not appear to be releasing radiation. So for anyone who's checking in, there's 21 of these in this plant. Because the uranium is literally right there. So everything in the vicinity is effectively radioactive. So I got to decide what I want to do next, because I've spent the last couple streams just getting the parts together for that. See where we're at with the vending machine. We need to start making cubes, because those are what they call frames. Those are pretty important, which are these things. So those are the pressure conversion cubes. Those are high end. You know, I'm not even making these reinforced arm plates. I'm not even making screws right now. We got plastic. We've got plastic unlocked. So let's go ahead and get rid of the plastic. Rubber is also done. So these are the heavy frames, modular fused frames. We've got rotors that need to be done so that we can make motors. Higher up, it's got these time crystals. For sure with the power. So there's the cubes. And then heavier cubes. Drag on. We need to restock on those. By the way, today is early release, so I will only be able to stream for a couple hours. Whoops, I wanted more than one of those.
Fix-It is not responsible for personal damage, environmental damage, psychological damage, or lowered standards that may result from use of these products. Enjoy your purchase.
Enjoy my purchase. Come here. Grab the cart. Thank you. And go through these when you're doing the belts. Well, there's as much plastic as I can get for these circuit boards right now. Gonna have to increase the plastic production. Okay. Let us start with basics. We've been doing basics. We need to do screws. Screws need iron rods. Go straight from making real iron rods. I think those are iron rods. Iron rods. I mean, look at this entire thing. We're using some plates from the top. We're not touching all of this iron on the bottom. The belt's off. Anyway, we have all of these plates and all of these rods, and none of it's going to anything anywhere, which is funny. Switch to 18 because we're making more of that. Where do I want to go? We're kind of migrating in this sort of direction. Yeah, let's keep going this way. I still don't remember where this is. There doesn't appear to be anything new there. Okay. I know I don't want to cross that line. Don't know what I'll put in it. So, like, if you were just to make iron rods, I've already got iron rods. I don't need you making iron rods. I need to be making screws out of iron rods. It's funny that I haven't even made screws, and yet I have nuclear power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you gonna let me stack, or are you gonna be stupid? Ding, 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 ding. So that's what, 16 or 14? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 14. Nope. Okay. You're just going to come up here. I really should have counted that. Nice. Aha, I got one wrong. One in the middle. Nope. 5. Okay. Time for Mix Masters. So we're gonna do splitter on you. I want you coming from maybe that direction. Now, I know that screws ends up being something that's very heavily used, so... At base level, each one produces 40. So 40. Can't do math in my head. 40 by 7. Yeah. 4 times 7 is 28. So it'll be 280 a minute. 280 a minute minimum. How much higher can I get that? All the, I think all the, they're all upstairs. Oh, not high enough. Gotta go up another one level. There we go. $15 per minute that these are currently capable of. How many of these can I stack? Was it 100? I asked for 10 and it gave me
Fix-It is
1.
not responsible for personal damage, environmental damage, psychological damage, or lowered standards that may result from use of these products.
Did I not
Enjoy
just
your
ask you for
purchase.
10? Well, now I want 9. Oh, interesting. It gave me 10. Am I purchasing those individually? Thank you. What happens if I buy 30? I get 300.
Somebody's at the front door.
Great. It's nice to meet you.
I have to turn my mic back on. Fair warning. We have an electrician visiting the house. So hopefully they will tell me before they start turning things on and off. Alright, so now I have 323 of those. And what I'm going to do is just straight up max these out. Copy. Straight up max these out. I forgot to turn the bar up. Copy. Paste. Okay. Paste. 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 power is not an issue anymore. We'll just up everything by 250%. Paste. 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 Get off the ground. Get off the ground. I guess that bumps up every one of these to 37.5. And let's see, they use 37.5. Well, these were turned down. That's interesting. Well, max them out. Well, I'm gonna make 75 max, which is more than I need, but it's not so much about balancing in this setup, it's about maximizing. Because there is no shortage of materials, especially on iron. Those are all completely and utterly maxed. So I have iron rods here and there, so I should probably start with these. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. As above, so below, or are we going... No, those are from the same storage units, so I could do 1 to 1. I don't need to use both. I will use all 8. Behold, iron rods. A little bit clippy. But also, I don't know if I want to overrun that side. Yep. Now, about that hole, don't want to overrun. Clip right through that other bill. All right, come with me. That's slightly too much. Okay. We need a splitter. I do not trust that that just worked. Feel like it should have, though. It's not at the same height. Nope, it wouldn't have. Didn't get that straight. Need to be slightly left of that specific spot. All right. Put a splitter. And then delete that. And do this instead. Alright, power, double outlet. Single outlet. Boing. 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 Thank you. Power switch in here. Connect you. And then a wall outlet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn it. Not where I wanted it. Get up. You. You. Go there. You go there. Nope. Yes. Plug. 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 Ah! Plug. Grab. Plug. Grab. Okay, those are pre-wired. So you're getting 37 and a half per minute on the other end, which means I can't physically max this out. It goes to 25. So the other end is making more than that per machine, and there's 8 of them. Well, there's 8 of them, and they're running 14 of these. That could still be tight. I don't want to do the rest of the math. Copy settings. Based. 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 Ah! All the wrong buttons. Based. That's the wrong button again. Well done, me. Based. 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 Hello, goat. How are you doing this morning? Based. Right, so now they do 100, which means I just went from 280 to 700 that will come out of this. 700 a minute. Well, I hope it's a good night. It's 10:30 in the morning here. Alright. I know enough to know that we have to do the mixer after the storage. So what I'm going to do here is direct connections. Damn it. What I'm going to attempt to do here is direct connections. I can put my storage in straight. I'm falling! If you want to run multiple trains on the same track, you gotta either have a loop set up so that they can drive all the way around without running into one another. Use block signals to keep them separated. Trains are both very simple and very annoyingly complex to use. So, obviously, I have a few of them out here. So there's a couple different easy ways to make them cooperate with multiple trains on a track. One is just to build a full loop one way and use these signals to keep the trains separated. If you want it to be bi-directional, running two directions, you have to have one of these on both sides. Because right now, this acts as a do not enter on the other side. So I have some bi-directional tracks. Let's see if I've got any. I do have some of the sidings in here, I think. Because there's a train right there that's waiting at one. So this train is waiting because that train is in the way. And it's waiting because there's a signal there. So once that train over there gets far enough away, it'll go past another one of these block signals, which will clear this block and tell this train that it can go. And if you hold a block signal in your hand, you can see what the different blocks look like. So the game separates them into different colors. If you have tracks that have the same color side by side, then the game sees them as one track instead of two. Effectively, yeah. Because you could just see that train over there that was paused, and now that the other train went away, now it's going to go ahead and pull up into the station. You're going to have to mess around with it a bit to kind of get the feeling for how it's supposed to work. I have not done what's the other one called? Path signals. Path signals are supposed to be for intersections, and they are confusing as hell. I gave up on them. One of the easiest ways to make a bi-directional system work is just to put in sidings. I think there's one over here. Sidings just allow your trains to pass each other on a bi-directional track when you have trains going two directions on one track. I'm sure I had one. I think there's one in this canyon. I have so many trains everywhere. Oh yeah, there's one down there. So right in front of my reticle here, right in front of my little hammer, that stretch there is a siding on a bi-directional track. And what that means is that when I have one train going one way, one train going the other, they can only go on one side of this or the other. So right now, that side is do not enter, this side is enter, and it's the same on the other end. So when a train pulls in here, it can only go down this side. And you can see that the signal down there is red. So there's a train further on, either coming or going. So if a train were to come from that direction, it would come up into this siding, and it would stop at this light and wait for that other train to get onto this siding. And then once they were past each other, then they would both get greens and they could carry on. The sidings were the part that took me the longest time to kind of fine-tune. They're not complicated, but they can be annoying. You have to make sure they're long enough for your entire train to fit in them. And then, of course, on my very last train that I built for this one, I forget what the resource was. There's the train we were waiting for. So once it goes by, this signal here should turn green. Yep. Which means that track is now clear. If there was a train waiting here, it would then proceed. The very last one of these that I built, when I finished them, I realized I could use the stations as sidings. So instead of putting a siding in between stations like that, I would put one track through the station and one track around the station. And I'd set up the signals so that trains going one way would go into the station and load up, and then trains going the other way could just go right past, because I figured, well, this train's already stopped. I should let the other traffic just go by it while it's sitting there. The biggest issue I ran into is there's a glitch in the game where if you run unrelated tracks parallel to each other, the game will think that they're connected, even when they're not. So you got to look at these colors. So if you've got tracks that run right alongside each other and they're the same color, then that means the game sees them as one track instead of two separate tracks. And you can help control that by putting down block signals. Because you can see the color changes where the block signal is, because that indicates the different sections. So it's like where these two tracks are right here, I had to make sure that these were different colors. Because you can see there's purple up there and there's purple here, so I put block signals in here so it would separate it and change the colors so that the game doesn't see them as one track. A lot of it, like I said, you're just going to have to mess around with it and kind of figure it out. There's lots of guides online. The path signals were what drove me crazy. I could not get path signals to work for anything. But as you can tell by my system out there, I have found a way to do it without using path signals that seems to be efficient. And if your train tracks get too close to one another, even if they don't use the same line, like trains are like other vehicles. They can't clip through themselves. So if you have two trains get too close to each other, one or both of them will derail. I can just put a wall on this, honestly. It's effectively there. My last playthrough, I was all about trying to get trains as soon as possible, and then I didn't really need them. This setup has been all trains. There are 42 trains right now running around this world. 42 of them on 14 lines. And then, what did we decide? 122 stations or something like that? Because one of the things I did in this game is I used every single resource node on the map, so. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and number 4. And I will definitely say, in my opinion, I think the trains are like the best form of mass transportation in the game. They're far superior to trucks. They're far superior to tractors, to drones. You can basically add as many cars as you want. You just have to make sure you add enough locomotives that it can make it over hills. And then if you want it to be bi-directional, you need a locomotive on both the front and the back facing opposite directions. So all of my trains have 8 cars and a locomotive on the front and another one on the back. Ginormous billboard. Let's go. Yeah, select, please. Screws. This building has one purpose in life. Well, you can start with 3 and go up from there. That is what I like the most about trains, is they are perfectly good for upward growth. You need more space. You add some platforms at a station, add some cars, add some locomotives, and you can just keep making them bigger and bigger. Screws! You ready to engage my screwing machine? Bink. It's a very simple building with one purpose. Screws. Screws. Power on, please. Make those screws as fast as possible, because I'm going to need them. Right. It is flying. This part up here should fill up because it's still producing. No screws are the best screws. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see the balance, because that has 8 units that are producing at max. This one has 14 units that are producing at max. Oh wow, look at that thing go. Okay. So then plates, right? Since I haven't done that. Yeah. Plates and screws make plates. Where are my cubes? Yeah, and that's when I need the plates for that. So we need to make a second plant that specifically just makes the plates, the reinforced plates. Okay, so we're gonna make you. Welcome to the world. Your task is not on this list. Hold on, I have to have the other thing. Assembler. Assembler. I'm gonna put you there. Okay. I don't know. Stitch plates. Adhered iron plates. Takes rubber. That's funny. So it's like, these are the two main ones, but I go from 6 to 18, 12 to 50, but it makes 3 times the plates. Let's see, 6 and 6 and 6 is 18. So it technically uses less screws. But it takes the same amount of iron plates. Let's try that one. Why am I holding so many screws? Here, you can have those. So that one by itself is 250 per minute. This entire thing produces 700. Or does... No. 1,400. It's 100 apiece. Oh, grab, select. It's 100 apiece. It's 1,400. Okay, that makes more sense. So, I'll take 700. It's 2.8 of those. Which is that. That's 2.8. Rounded up. 2.8. $15 per minute out. 90 per minute plate, which is not an issue. No, go down, please. I have 7 of those, right? Crude oil. 1 second while I'm thinking about this. Where am I? I'm in the wrong section. Why am I always in the wrong section? Give me a merger. Dead center. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here. It's gonna stick out into the road. Then put this on it. 1, 2. Done. Okay. So one of the first areas that I started on crude is down in this southeast corner. There's a bunch in these cliffs. All of those. Those are all crude. And if you're starting in this southern grassland area, those are the nearest crudes to you. There's some on the west coast over here. There's a couple pressure well, and there's a pressure well in the dead marshes. And then there's a bunch up here in the very north central area here, where all these fjords are. This is all oil right there. Maybe I need a wall first. No wall. I want a wall. Frame. Ah, there's just not enough room here for what I was going to do, I don't think. It doesn't help that that sticks out so far. Maybe I don't do it at the bottom. Maybe I do it at the top. But then they all have to go on the top. Merge. Excuse me, merge. There's no way. There's no way. Oh, yes way. No. You almost worked. That would have been cool with the little stair-steppy thing. I'm just too close on that line. I kind of didn't want to be on that line. Okay. So you're just going to have to go up. Come on, turn around. Around. Nope, not. Come here. Go up and then click. And yeah. And then merge. See you later, Goat. Thanks for visiting. Nope, not down there. You go to you. You. And you. I don't know how I'm going to do the wall on that side. One, two. Nope! Click too soon again. One, two. Wait. One, two. That seems problematic. Splitter. You're gonna go into that. You know, I'm so obsessed with going over that line. Why don't I just... Do I actually want to do that way? Give me a hole. It'll just be an open gate. click. So I don't want to make all of those into screws. Or an iron plate. I need the screws for frames. And I may have to build a second screw plant anyway. If this is going to be attached, where's my power? Grab this. Really hoping that I'm doing a good setup for this. But I kind of don't know when to turn it on is the problem. Power switch. This is no, these are bolted is what they call them. Where's my mouse? Reinforced iron plates. It's just the recipe's bolted iron plates. Still reinforced iron plates. Reinforced iron plates. Just turn that on. So load them up. I gotta go and get the iron plates still. Like these ones here. Stop running. Merge. Right. Ah. Nice one. Maybe I... Right there. And then we're just gonna phase that through there. And behold, iron plates. An unknown number. A value greater than 0. I've made this complicated for myself. Am I allowed to do that? Hmm. Wrong. Wrong. It is allowing me to do this. That is workable and messy. But it works. Messy. It's very messy. So those of iron plates. I want... What else can I do with these before I... the iron rods. The iron rods go into screws. And modular frames. Those are the two things the iron rods are used for. And the screws, whoops. Iron plates, rotors, heavy frames. Huh. So you make plates, you make rotors, and you make heavy frames with the screws, and that's it. I still might need another screw plant. So I need to combine those with rods, and I'm in the wrong menu again. Because I'm trying to make frames. Trying to make basic ass frames. I could use screws. I'm already at the screw plant. It's a higher production rate. I don't know if it's better on materials. 56 screws. Oh, the finale of Fallout just released. A 7.5 iron plate. And this thing's making 15. So one of those would make enough plate to run 2 of these. But it needs 140 screws per minute, which is less than those. Interesting. So... Bolted frame. Come here. You're making the iron plate. You need... Yes. So I need 140 per minute base. 100, 200, 300, 400. Little clippy. That only leaves me with one extra one of these machines running out right now. If I up you... $22. 22 out, 7.5 in. That would run 3, more or less. That would run 3. But it is going to max out on screws. But we've got the mix master between it and the screw source. Okay. So now we have basic cubes. Logistics hole. There's one up there. Right. Basic frame. Oh my gosh. I can type. I swear I can. Basic frames on one side. Reinforced plates on the other. All of that's going to have to be amplified. And that takes care of the basic frames. Which is you. Okay, basic frames. Where should I go from there? Rotors was one. I need screws. I need rods and screws for rotors. So I'm gonna need another screw plant is what I'm gonna need. It's not physically enough. And that's kind of what I figured, is that it would not be physically enough. Mm-hmm.